What if Rome was invincible? What if the Roman Empire never fell? A house divided against itself cannot stand. This is one of the most famous quotes about the fall of the Roman Empire. But what if the opposite was true? What if Rome was not falling apart, but conquering the world? We could have been living in a Roman superpower world with advanced technology, roads, and aqueducts. Rome wasn't built in a day, but in reality, it took 400 years to reach its peak. From the founding of the city until the death of Augustus, Rome changed from a small village to an empire that would dominate the Mediterranean for centuries. The history of the Roman Empire is full of civil wars, economic crises, plagues, and rebellions. However, none of them were able to stop the Romans from building their society. And if we take a look at the history of the Roman Empire, we can see that there were some moments where everything looked dark, but in the end, Rome survived. In this video, we will try to imagine how the world would be today if these events had a different outcome. Stay until the end to find out what could have happened to Rome and our world. The Battle of Actium in 32 BC was a battle between Octavian and Mark Antony for control of the Roman Empire. The battle was fought in the Ionian Sea off the coast of Greece and resulted in Octavian's victory and the establishment of the Roman Empire. It is considered by many historians as the end of the Hellenistic period and the beginning of the Pax Romana, or Roman peace, which lasted for more than 2 centuries. If Octavian had lost the Battle of Actium, then Rome would not have become a single state again. Instead, it could have remained divided between several rulers and generals, as the Roman Republic was during the late 2nd century BCE. This would have led to a much more fragmented Mediterranean with several centers of power instead of a single dominant power. Each region of the former empire might have developed independently, potentially creating a collection of smaller but still powerful states. Possibly a Hellenic state controlling Greece and the eastern provinces. Rome would perhaps be just another important city in the Mediterranean, but nothing compared to the global influence it actually had. The Julio-Claudian dynasty ruled over Rome from 27 BC to 68 AD. The dynasty was founded by Octavian after his victory at the Battle of Actium and included 4 emperors: Augustus, Tiberius, Caligula, and Claudius. While they were all related to the first emperor, only Claudius was actually part of the direct family line of Augustus. The Julio-Claudians faced numerous challenges during their rule, including civil wars, rebellions, and assassinations. If the Julio-Claudians had not come into power or had quickly lost control of the empire, it is possible that Rome wouldn't have reached the peak of its power. Without Augustus, the empire may have fallen back into chaos and disorder, and eventually collapsed altogether. Furthermore, without the stability brought by the Julio-Claudians, other ambitious generals and politicians might have seized power, potentially plunging Rome into a new civil war and further weakening it. Moreover, the Julio-Claudian dynasty played a significant role in expanding the Roman Empire into one of the largest empires in history. Augustus conquered Egypt and established the province of Syria. Claudius conquered Britain and expanded the empire into northern Europe. If this hadn't happened, then Rome would have been weaker and much smaller than it actually became. Between 69 and 96 AD, the Roman Empire went through a period of instability known as the Year of the 4 Emperors. During this time, 4 emperors held the title, while the empire was ravaged by civil wars and military campaigns. This period began when Nero, the last Julio-Claudian emperor, committed suicide following a series of revolts across the empire. After Nero's death, a succession crisis ensued, leading to a rapid succession of emperors, each with brief and turbulent reigns. Vespasian, the last of the 4, managed to restore stability and order to the empire, and is regarded as the founder of the Flavian dynasty. If Vespasian hadn't defeated the other pretenders to the throne, then the empire might have plunged into a deep crisis. There is a possibility that the Roman Empire would have collapsed altogether due to external threats, such as the Parthians or the Dacians. who were pressing against the eastern and northern borders. Another possibility is that someone else might have taken advantage of the situation and founded a new ruling dynasty, potentially changing the course of Roman history. In any case, the empire would definitely have been weaker and less stable than it ultimately became under the Flavians. Plague outbreaks are an inevitable part of human history, and the Roman Empire was no exception. One of the most devastating outbreaks occurred in the 3rd century AD during the reign of Emperor Caracalla. Known as the Antonine Plague, the disease spread throughout the empire, killing millions of people. Despite the plague's impact, Rome continued to grow and prosper, demonstrating its resilience in the face of adversity. However, let's suppose that the Antonine Plague had wiped out a larger percentage of the Roman population. In that case, it could have had a devastating impact on the empire's economy, infrastructure, and military. A significant reduction in population could have led to labor shortages, slowing down or even halting public works projects and agricultural production. Widespread death could have overwhelmed the empire's healthcare system, straining resources and leading to social unrest. Moreover, a severe drop in population might have weakened Rome's military capabilities, affecting its ability to defend its vast borders and engage in foreign conflicts. The empire might have become more vulnerable to external threats and internal rebellions, potentially leading to instability and decline. The crisis of the 3rd century was a period of instability and turmoil in the Roman Empire spanning from 235 to 284 AD. During this period, the king faced numerous challenges, including economic decline, political upheaval, and military threats. The crisis was marked by a rapid succession of 26 emperors, most of whom had short and troubled reigns, often involving civil wars and power struggles. Furthermore, the 3rd century saw the empire come under pressure from outside invaders, such as the Goths, the Persians, and the Sassanids, who inflicted major defeats on Rome and threatened its territorial integrity. If this crisis had somehow been worse and the empire's collapse seemed imminent, there is a chance that Rome would have collapsed completely. If that had happened, Europe would likely have descended into a new dark age. The Western Roman Empire would have ceased to exist, and the eastern half might have fallen as well. Other powers, such as the Goths, Franks, Alemanni, or the Byzantines, might have dominated Europe and possibly North Africa in the Near East. Without the unifying force of the Roman Empire, Europe could have remained fragmented with numerous independent and warring tribes for centuries. The legacy of Rome might have been lost, and its contributions to law, language, its culture, and governance could have been drastically different from what we know today. Instead, Diocletian came to power and implemented important reforms that stabilized the empire and paved the way for its recovery. He divided the empire into two halves, reorganized the administration, and implemented a new currency. His reforms helped to alleviate some of the problems that had contributed to the crisis and set the stage for the empire's eventual revival. Rome had an enormous impact on the world, and we can see its influence in almost every aspect of our lives. From its contributions to science, engineering, and law, Rome left behind a legacy that has shaped our world in profound ways. If Rome had never fallen, its influence might have been even greater. Perhaps we would live in a world with better roads, aqueducts, and public works. Or maybe we would have more advanced legal systems and a deeper understanding of engineering principles. However, it's impossible to say for sure, since the future is always uncertain, okay? But we do know that Rome's legacy lives on in many ways today. Its contributions to art, architecture, and literature continue to inspire us today. And its ruins serve as a reminder of the greatness of this ancient civilization. In fact, many of the things we take for granted today, such as concrete, roads, and aqueducts, were invented by the Romans. Their advancements in engineering and construction allowed them to build impressive structures that stood the test of time. They also developed sophisticated legal systems that were ahead of their time and influenced modern legal systems. Moreover, Roman art and architecture continue to inspire artists and architects today. From the Colosseum to the Pantheon, these iconic structures are a testament to the creativity and ingenuity of the Roman people. Overall, the fall of Rome was a pivotal moment in history that led to significant changes in Europe and the world. While it brought an end to the Roman Empire, it also paved the way for new civilizations and cultures to flourish. And while it is fascinating to speculate about what would have happened if Rome had never fallen, we must also appreciate the legacy that it left behind and the impact it has had on our world today. So, what do you think? How would the world be today if Rome was invincible? Let us know in the comments. Thank you for watching, and see you soon.